Now, what did the Emancipation Proclamation? Let me move on to what it did. The slaveholding states that stayed in the Union, these were the states of Delaware, Maryland, Missouri, and Kentucky. They got to keep their slaves. That's leaving 830,000 people in slavery. Remember back, Lincoln said his objective was to hold the Union together, not to free slaves or to end slavery in the United States. So he kept this promise by giving these states that stayed in the Union, these slave states, the right to hold on to their slaves. The second thing that this Emancipation Proclamation did, it allowed black men to fight for the freedom, not only for their freedom, but the freedom of their families. Under General Order 143 that was issued in May 1863, it created what was called the U.S. Bureau of U.S. Colored Troops. This would lead to the formation of the 54th Massachusetts, which is depicted in the movie Glory. So if you've seen Glory and Denzel, and by the way, Denzel will probably play me in my movie. But anyway, let me move on. I had to get Denzel in there. It also led to the formation of the 13th U.S. Colored Infantry Regiment, which is depicted in the PBS documentary, The Battle of Nashville. With the forming of these black troops, the rally call around the nation became preservation and liberty. Let's preserve this nation and let's give liberty to these people who have been held in bondage. The third and probably most important part of this Emancipation Proclamation, that areas that came under U.S. Army or U.S. Navy control, when they controlled these areas, the slaves became free. Let me give you a few examples. When General Joseph Hooker defeated the Confederacy in Chattanooga, those slaves became free. Then, of course, he moved on up into Nashville. Another example is when Union General William Tecumseh Sherman started his march to the sea in what he called total war. He burned Atlanta to the ground. Then he moved on to Charleston, South Carolina. Then he moved on up into Greensboro and Durham, North Carolina, ending slavery in these areas. And of course, when Grant's army defeated Lee's army of Northern Virginia, these slaves were freed and pretty much ended the Civil War. Oh, but it don't get more better. The fourth part of this journey to emancipation, 1 month after the formal ending of the Civil War and 2 years after Lincoln had first issued the Emancipation Proclamation, on June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Ranger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and he issued what was called General Order Number 3, which stated that all remaining enslaved people in Texas shall be free. They shall be free. This announcement set off celebrations among the enslaved, the formerly freed, the freed people, and Juneteenth became a celebration. This was also the unofficial end of slavery in the United States. A few months later, in December 1865, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in the United States, was passed, and slavery ended forever in our land.